know anything about Western North Carolina, you've probably heard that there are some amazing waterfalls. And that's no joke, you guys. There are a ton of them. Many, many more than what we actually got to visit. So what we decided to do was make this Real Talk Tuesday today a little bit of a review of 15 different waterfalls that we got to see while we were there and what they're best known for. That way, if you're coming to the area at some point, you can watch this and you can kind of decide which ones, or all of them, that you want to go see based on what your needs are. Hello everybody and welcome back to No Ordinary Path. I am Kristen. This is Wendy, our 37-foot travel trailer that we travel the country in. My husband is a travel nurse. We have 3 kids and a dog. We just wrapped up a contract in North Carolina, in Western North Carolina in Asheville. And we have a wrap-up video up here. If you missed it, we posted that this Sunday. One of the things that I was really looking forward to doing was going to see waterfalls. All right, so let's go.
Hey baby, if you're looking for some crazy, I tell you everybody's standing in line for the water slide.
First one was Dudley Falls.
We're at Dudley Falls. Look at Dudley Falls.
No, not Deadly Falls, Dudley Falls. And this one was a really great swimming hole. It was popular where we were. It was more of a local spot. Most likely you're going to run into some people. The benefit was it had a great big swimming hole to swim in. It was really fun for the kids. I think if you were just viewing it, it wouldn't be as enjoyable as actually playing in it. This one is near Hot Springs in the northern part of North Carolina. Almost, it may be on the Tennessee side, but I'm counting it. I'm including Hickey Fork. Hickey Fork was an area that we went to, a kind of local swimming hole area. It's one that we put in our episode last week.
Hickey Fork is not so much a waterfall as it is a creek with cascading water in it. And it does create a really great place to splash and play in the water, and it is quite beautiful and very peaceful. So if solitude is something that you're searching for and you're north of Asheville, this is a really great place to come.
Looking Glass Falls is in the Pisgah Forest. It was an incredible amount of water. If you want a big waterfall experience with lots of water cascading in a big sheet of water, this is one for you. This is a really pretty one. It has a nice walkway down to it. I believe it's ramps, if I remember right, which makes it ADA accessible. And there's beautiful views. You can also swim in it at the base. Lots of people swam in it. My kids got behind it and swam. I don't know if that's advisable. There weren't signs that say otherwise, but it didn't seem like it was something people do all the time. You know, my kids are a little wild like that. And very close to Looking Glass Falls is Sliding Rock. Sliding Rock is the only one we went to where we had to pay a fee. There is a $4 per person, I believe, fee to park in the parking lot and utilize the Sliding Rock Falls. Now you can just go and walk and look, and it is a neat little waterfall to see just for the pure aspect that it looks like a water slide. But if you aren't getting in the water, I would maybe skip it, to be honest. It was probably the most commercialized one that we saw, and it was extremely cold. Now, I'm glad that we went. Our kids had a great time. We made great memories there. So for all of that, it was definitely worth it. But it was not probably the prettiest waterfall. Certainly a more fun one to play in, though. Skinny Dip Falls. This one has a scary name if you have children, but it's nothing like that. Everyone was clothed, I promise. Skinny Dip Falls is right off of the Blue Ridge Parkway, which makes it a great stop if you are just cruising the parkway. It does have a nice hike to get to it. It is not that long of a hike, and it's very well marked. It is a very popular destination. Although it is not commercialized, there are a lot of people that go and visit this area. So if you're going in the summer or anytime when it's warm and you want to swim, just be prepared. There are going to be a lot of people swimming with you. But the nice thing about it is it covers a wide space. So the falls themselves cascade for quite a while, and there are little pools, like cascades and then a pool and then cascades and then a pool. So there's several places where you can have your kids kind of play in the water and whatnot. And if you're just hiking it, you can hike along there and there's lots of places to take pictures. But again, be advised, you are probably going to have people in your pictures because it was crowded. It was our first experience swimming in a waterfall, and the boys had so much fun jumping in the swimming hole. Falls is right off of the Blue Ridge Parkway. If you're looking for a place where you can do a short hike, you can do that, or you can take a longer hike and you can see it from several different vantage points. So there's kind of something for everyone. It is not one that you can swim in. So if you're looking for one to swim in, that's not going to work for you, but it does have a visitor center and they have a junior ranger program. And as I said, it's off the Blue Ridge Parkway, so it's accessible and very enjoyable to visit.
Fireman Falls, as it is called in the geocache app, is actually Waterfalls Park in Newland, North Carolina. And this was a really fun trip for us. It's actually a really beautiful waterfall. It's got multiple levels where it cascades down into a pool. And it is a pretty tall one, and it's got a nice trail that goes all along the side of it all the way to the top, and then at the top it has a big circle loop up there, a couple mile hike, and several geocaches to find.
Triple Falls is in DuPont State Recreational Forest. Now there's a couple of different waterfalls in the forest there, and unfortunately we just did not have time to see them all. So we went to Triple Falls and we really liked this one a lot. Some of the waterfalls are ones where you kind of look at from afar, and some are great swimming holes. This one would probably be a great swimming hole if it wasn't so cold, but this one has a slab of rock that runs right next to it that is incredible to just walk right next to. You can literally walk to the very base of the falls. And the pictures do not do justice. It does seem like you are just standing at the base of this ginormous waterfall, and it is a ton of water that is cascading off these rocks. There's signs all over the place. You don't want to hike to the top of it. At the time we went, it was more chilly outside and it was at twilight. We were the only ones there. But our friends went on a weekend in the middle of the day and said it was packed. So it really depends on the time that you go if you're looking for some solitude.
Although we did not personally get to see High Falls, it is another very popular waterfall inside DuPont. So if you are in the area, make sure to hit that one up as well. There is a hike to it. Our friends did get to hike to it, and they said that it was a lovely waterfall.
Mingo Falls. We did this one with my folks. This was the tallest waterfall that we went to. It was really tall. It also had 160 some odd stairs to get up to it, so it was a little bit more difficult to climb up to see it. The view at the top, I think, is well worth it, and it probably depends on the time of year that you go see it, but I will say that they were extremely tall, and it was really neat to see that high of a rock wall with the water just trickling down, and you can see the comparison to my boys here. This one is near the southeastern entrance to Great Smoky Mountain National Park. So if you're in the area over there, that's a great little stop to make, especially if you're staying in Cherokee. Next, we're going to talk about the waterfalls in Highlands, North Carolina, along, I believe it's 64 Highway. First, we went to Sequoia Falls. This one was a dam, so it wasn't officially a waterfall, but it has a really short hike and it's pretty easy to get to. You just park off the side of the road and you walk down there, and you can be right by these falls. And the way that it comes off the dam is really neat, and it gives you a great effect for pictures. The next one was Bridal Falls. Bridal Falls is a waterfall that's the kind that when you're right up next to it, it doesn't seem that impressive. But if you walk across the road and you turn around and you look at it, you can see it's a lot higher than it seems. And it does cascade a while before it falls over a road. and then down under the highway. So the cool factor is pretty neat because you can walk behind it, and you used to be able to drive behind it, but not anymore, not for the last few years. Bust Your Butt Falls is another one right off of that highway, and this one I will say is worth a stop if you're on the highway and if you're there in that area, but it wasn't the most spectacular waterfall that we have seen. It was another swimming hole, which if you came in the summertime might be a very hopping place, but in the fall there just wasn't. You can't swim in the fall, and it was just it was a pretty cascading but not really super impressive. Dry Falls is probably one of my favorite waterfalls, and the reason why is it is an incredible amount of water. I really like the waterfalls that just are really thick. They have a lot of water to them. You can walk behind it. There's an actual walkway behind it, and the water is just, the intensity of it is incredible. You're close to it, you can feel the mist on you, and we went in the fall, and so the trees were beautiful all around. I will say this was another one that we would have to pay for. We did not, because we have a 4th grader and we have a national park pass. If you don't have a pass, it's $3 to park. And it is ADA friendly as well. It is a paved path all the way down and behind the falls. Sequoia Falls. It was incredible. This is where we got just some amazing drone footage, and it is one that you can peep from the road, but to get the full experience, you have to take a hike down to it, and the hike is rated hard. So it is a strenuous hike, but only because it is so steep. It's not a very long hike, but it is very steep, and if it's wet outside, it's probably going to be very slick. So I will advise that part of it. But we were not certain if our family was going to be able to make the hike, because All Trails made it sound like it was just so super over the top hard, and we did not feel like it was that difficult for our children, despite it being steep. It was not wet when we went, so that probably had something to do with it. But once you get down to the bottom, you have the most incredible views of this epic waterfall, and our drone footage speaks for itself, really. Okay, to wrap this up, I'm going to go through a couple of categories super fast and tell you our top waterfalls for each category. Number 1, the most challenging. Obviously, Sequoia, hands down the most challenging to get to view, but I gotta say Mingo Falls was pretty challenging as well. Not too hard, but definitely a challenge with all of those steps to get to it. The next, the easiest accessed waterfall has got to be Looking Glass Falls. Right off of the highway in Pisgah National Forest. You can see it as you drive by. There's a decent amount of parking, and it's ADA accessible. Most beautiful waterfall. This one was hard, but I have to say it's a tie between Sequoia and Linville Falls. Linville Falls is really pretty because it's got different levels of the falls and different points of view, which we really enjoyed. And the best swimming hole, hands down, Paint Creek, Dudley Falls. It's not the biggest waterfall, but it has such a great little swimming hole area. I know we have only barely scratched the surface of Western North Carolina waterfalls, so if I did not mention your favorite one, please tell us below why you love it, what its name is, and where it's at, so we can add it to our list of waterfalls in Western North Carolina. We're going to put together a master list of these waterfalls and put it up on our blog. You can check out that post right down here. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this information. If you are RVing or you are adventurous or whatever, anything like that, you are going to want to see waterfalls in Western North Carolina at some point in your journey. So I hope this helps you when you head that direction. All right, thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure that you like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know you're here. We love chatting with you guys. And if you are not familiar with what the NO Peeps are, you can check that out up here or at the end of the screen. We would love to talk with you on a more personal basis in our coffee club. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you out there.